when you join eXp, you become an owner in the company. So you get not only that financial security, but it also gives you a voice in the company. It truly, truly, truly is a partnership. My previous company that I was with, they said they were a partnership. They were full of
Well, you were a KW person for a long time, and you were pretty high on KW for a long time. Can you tell me how you ended up switching to eXp or why you ended up switching to eXp?
So I was with KW since 2007. At the time, I was just becoming an operating partner with KW. And there was this guy named Gene Frederick. And Gene was the regional director of the Virginias. He interviewed me and qualified me to become an operating partner, which is a leadership position with my previous company. And the reason why I remember that significantly was because about 6 months or so after I had become qualified to be an operating partner with KW, Gene left the company. And he left the company to go with eXp.
Mm.
And at the time, I'm gonna be candid with you, I felt betrayed. And I thought he was doing what was in it for him. Well, fast forward, 15, 16 years, Gene's doing okay with eXp. Like
Yeah.
he's a multi-millionaire. Fast forward through the years, so eXp didn't really start to get some traction, and for several years later. And then what was happening was you'd have all these recruiters calling you, you'd have all these these agents sending you text messages and, hey, come join eXp. And that was my my experience with all these eXp recruiters. So I had this sort of bad taste in my mouth.
Mhm.
But about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I met a gentleman, Jesse Zalgorski, and I met him by doing a podcast. We became friends. He genuinely reached out to help me. Like he genuinely was like, he was actually helping me. And during that same time period, I was launching my coaching company, the Consistent Predictable Income Community, to be able to help real estate agents to have no broke months. And during that time period, what I realized was that nobody within my own company that I was affiliated with at the time was helping me. And I had dedicated my entire being. I had dedicated my time, my money, my relationships. Like I was all in because I believed in my previous company so much. It was fine when I was giving, or at least I was attempting to give. I'm not going to say that I was perfect at giving. Like I put the energy into it. It wasn't until the day came where I was like, oh, wait, can you help me? And that's when I reached out to leaders within the company. I reached out to my regional operating partner. I reached out to the CEO of the company. I reached out, to everybody within the company that I had created this, what I thought was relationships, and nobody was willing to help me. And so that was a time in my life where I started to discover, it's like, wait a second, I'm in this situation where people from one company that are genuinely helping me, I got people from another company that I've devoted a tremendous amount of energy, time, resources, etc., blood, sweat, and tears. And the people from the new company are helping me, and they don't really have anything to benefit other than maybe I join them. I get maybe there's some recruiting to it. I get that, right? I get that ultimately they wanted me to join the company, and ultimately they wanted me to be able to, to benefit from the relationships that maybe I could bring to them, or whatever the case may be, maybe from my influence. But ultimately, it was almost like one I had prepaid and the other was prepaying to me. That's when I started to take a look at it. And that's when I, for the first time, opened up my eyes and got past all those silly recruiters from eXp that were hounding me and said, well, wait a second, let me actually take a look at what is this. And when I opened up my eyes, what I found was that the training was as good as my previous company or better, that the tools and resources were better, and that the relationships within the company were one such that I really had colleagues working to help me succeed. I go through my life, my business career, and I suggest it to anybody who I'm coaching, whatever the case may be. I say, I spend 11 months out of the year figuring out how can I give to you. And I spend 1 month out of the year, that's December, figuring out how can you give to me. And I think that's a fair proportion. And I've done that every single year of my career until the month of December 2 years ago, when I asked that question of the company that I was in business with. I said, what are you doing to help me? And I found that the proportion of me helping versus being helped back was disproportionate. And that's what caused me to join eXp. My previous company, I had sponsored in my entire 7 levels of my line without trying, because in my role, what I really did was I really was helping other agents to help recruit into their downlines, into their profit share. When I left the company, I had about 300 people in my total 7 line, and I had sponsored many, many, many more into the company that then went, and many of those actually ended up joining eXp. Within 6 months of joining eXp, my revenue share was greater than my profit share was. And so 6 months after I joined eXp, I was getting more revenue share than 15 years of committed, like at the top of the echelon, like pretty much knocking out of the park with my previous company. And that was an unexpected surprise, but it wasn't the only unexpected surprise that I had. There were more because, well, here's an unexpected surprise. The previous company, the leadership decide not too long ago, we promised you that if you join our company, you help grow our company, that you could have this retirement mechanism. So the previous company that I was with said, yeah, you're going to have retirement, like you help us grow the company, you're going to get profit. But they didn't promise us how much you get to keep. You could keep your profit share, but only 5% of it. That to me just seems like not a cool thing to do. After you promise and after you have people like me, and it's not about me, it's about the promises that I made to others on behalf of that leadership that were lies, okay? But then, again, you fast forward.
What is it about eXp that transforms the recruiting relationship?
Got a phone call from a friend of mine, Curtis Tyree. He's called me since we've been on this Zoom here, and he's a freaking amazing dude. Curtis is in Florida. Curtis is with eXp. I'm with eXp. He's calling me right now to help me. I don't know what he's calling to help me with. I don't know what it is. I didn't take the phone call, but he's calling me to help me. Guaranteed, 100%, he's calling me to help me. Now, that's the type of relationships that I didn't previously have. Does Curtis benefit from helping me? Not at all. I'm not in his downline. I'm not in his revenue share tree. Here's somebody who sees the benefit and the value of, remember going back when I said that that month of that December when I looked and I said, who's helping me and who's not? That's an example right there of somebody reaching out to me unsolicited. And I guarantee you, I'll bet you $100 that he's calling me to help me. I had a team of agents who were joining the eXp, and they were considering to join another company. And their challenge that they had was they had two brokerages. They had a commercial brokerage and a residential brokerage. And they needed to be able to stay with one being a commercial brokerage in one scenario, and they wanted to be residential with eXp. Well, that was the problem. It doesn't matter what the problem was, but the solution was a part of me being able to reach out to the leadership within my company to be able to solve their problem, to be able to help them that the other company couldn't do. And so that the ecosystem of relationships, if I want to talk to my broker, if I want to talk to any broker in the United States, I simply go into eXp Workplace. I click a little tab on the room, click on a little stateroom button, drops down. I can go into the stateroom. I could pull a ticket, and I'm having a conversation with the broker in, call it 5 minutes or less. My previous brokerage, if I needed to go and find a broker, they're probably not in their office. Then I'm going to send them a text. They may or may not get back to me. Then I'm going to give them a phone call. They may or may not answer that phone call. Then it may be 24 hours at best before I hear back from them. Today, it's as simple as going into eXp Workplace, clicking a drop down, boom. There's broker support, there's administrative support, there's transactional support. Hey, if I'm looking for my paycheck, there's somebody there to make sure I get paid.
What has been your experience, not of the revenue, but what has been your experience of the company?
So yesterday I was signing up for some Google ads, and we were signing up for the Google Places so that we could take my company, Greetings Virginia Sales Network, and we could advertise it on Google. And one of the things that the Google wanted was they wanted a copy of the E&O insurance. This was on Sunday. So on Sunday, I sent a message to the broker, and the broker replies back to me. And she says, hey, I'll definitely get that to you tomorrow, Dan, no sweat. And this morning I start working, and in my email box, here's a copy of the insurance, right? Now, that to me should be sort of just like basic, like type of care that you get from a brokerage. But the reality of it is that's not the case always.
Right.
And now maybe that's unique and situational to my state broker. But the feedback that I've gotten from, people in other states, I'm in Virginia, the feedback that I've gotten from, students of mine that I coach in California and New York and Florida and different states across the country has been the same. And the cool thing about it is if I need to talk to a broker right now, this was the thing that I didn't expect. It's a Monday right now at 2:43 in the afternoon. I can literally go into eXp world, and the reality of it is at first I thought that was, I thought it was wonky. I'll just be candid with you. I thought, this virtual reality, I thought it was just like, I thought it was silly. But what I didn't get was the fact that I could go right now, within 2 minutes of now, go pull a ticket and be ready to have a conversation with my broker, or the broker's ready to have a conversation with me if I needed her or him, if that was the case. Within 5 minutes of right now, I'm having a conversation with them.
Well, still that's dependent on whether the person is sitting at their desk, right? Working.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, because the way that it's set up. So in my state, there's 5 supervising brokers and one designated broker, and that's the way that every state is. It may not be 5 for Texas. I'm going to guess it's probably more than 5. For California, it's certainly more than 5. Maybe for a smaller state, maybe it's 3 or 4, whatever the case may be. But during business hours, there's always a broker that's on duty, at least one, if not more than one. And not only that, there's also a client care and administrative support, a transaction support, right? So during the business hours, there is somebody that's designated that they're there. So because the way it's set up, like a normal broker, there may be one broker and maybe some client care person. They don't have the resources. Let's say there's a brokerage, there's 150 agents in that broker, so that they can say there's always going to be somebody available to you during business hours. But because there's one state broker, at first blush, I thought, well, geez, that's going to suck because they got all these agents that they have to manage. But the reality of it is the eXp has the resources, because of the way that it's situated, that literally, if you need something done, there's somebody there for you. One of the flaws that I think that eXp has is the fact that some people who are seeking that community, if you pick the wrong sponsor, okay, or if you pick the wrong team to be on, per se, I don't know the best way to say that, is that when that happens, it's situational.
Right.
So in the consistent predictable income community, we design the community so that Monday to Friday, there's online groups working together to be able to have that community. For people who are local to me, I live in Northern Virginia, every single Tuesday. That's the reason why I open up my home, is to have that collaborative environment where you can come and work together. But the reality of it is that if you're in California, well, it's going to be sort of tough to come to Dan's home. Right. Which is why every single day, Monday to Friday, there's literally a Zoom. And on that Zoom, there's people who are working. Some people are doing administrative stuff. Some people are lead generating. But at the very least, we're there as a collaborative team. And not only that, that's the reason why we do the CPI baby steps. So every single Monday to Friday, in the morning, we start the day off with 30 minutes of either training or inspiration or scripture role play. Okay, so on Monday, it's the Monday Mindset Mastery. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays is tactical training. And on Fridays, it's scripture role play. So that we're there as a team together. So I think the flaw with eXp is the fact that if you pick the wrong sponsor, you may not get the support in the community that you're seeking, which is why I started the CPI community.
And you really, at that point, whereas like if you don't like your broker, or if you don't like your office in a traditional company, you can always switch to another broker or to another office. But with eXp, you're locked in, right?
Technically, I mean, there's a way you can leave the company and come back, but yeah, but for the most part, yeah. So it's really, really critical that you're selective of who you name as your sponsor. Okay. The company is freaking amazing. It really, truly is. I'm not saying that. Here's the deal. They've been doing this since 2007. Okay. I could go and I've owned I owned a large, KW brokerage for 10 years as an operating partner. I could easily go out, people ask me, so why don't you just go out and do your own thing, Dan? Well, here's the reason why. I don't want to be a broker. I don't want to have my, my E&O insurance for the agents. I don't want to have to be able to manage the agents. But with the eXp model, I can get all the benefit of being able to bring in a community of agents, train them, give them the resources, give them the tactical training, the step-by-step. Here's how to do the business. Here's how to be able to get hired 85% of the time with your listings. Here's how to be able to prevent the predictable problems of a transaction before it happens. I'm able to provide that of what a great broker should be able to do with no other overhead, none of the overhead, with none of the hassle, okay? And all the benefit because of the model of sharing the revenue, where I get all the benefits that a broker would get with none of the hassle. And by the way, people that join the CPI community, you don't need to go out there and do that training. That's why I do that for you. Okay, you don't need to go out and recruit. Never do you have to go out and recruit. But you can still recruit and grow your revenue share by simply introducing them to the community and introducing them to the training, the value that we provide, because it's easy. If you want something to help another agent, you say, hey, look, I've got this training that's coming up next week that's going to show you how to add 3 more listings to your inventory every single month, the rest of your career. That's not recruiting. That's offering a freaking gift to somebody. And now you're offering a gift to them. It's easy for them to come into the community, see the value, and then I will invite them to join eXp with you as their sponsor to make it easy.
And I think about when we were there for your first or second lead gen meeting, how happy you were, because it brought back the memories, maybe even phantom memories, of what it was like to have a vibrant, lead gen marketing excited agents experience, but which is probably what you thought being a broker was going to be at the beginning, right? Woo!
It wasn't that.
Coach, and I'm going to support them, and I'm going to help them achieve their goals. But now you kind of get to do it.
Well, that day that you were referring to, I don't think I got that very often as a broker owner, where I would walk into the brokerage and there's actually people working.
Yeah.
But instead, what I would get is I'd walk into the brokerage and everybody's bitching about how bad the market is. Everyone's like, hey, you want to go have lunch? Let's go get drinks. Right? I'm like, all right, that's cool. Anybody want to actually help a client? Right? I mean, that's what I got. Right? So that's why I put this community together. And the reality of it is if you want to go out and BS, that's cool. Like, no sweat. But if you want to go and actually do business, I can help you. And that's what attracted me that day. And what I really, really got joy from was I was observing the agents actually in play, right? Because I have a community now where I can attract the right agents versus being a broker owner where I'm just like, man, I'm just praying somebody comes join me. I'll freaking take anybody. If you're a really, if you're a producing agent, because I'm what they call icon agent. Okay. Meaning I do a certain amount of production. And then because I fulfill all the cultural responsibilities that I fulfill, I get that $16,000 back in stock. So every single time that I write a check, for the 20% of the commission I pay for eXp that gets capped out at $16,000, assuming that I'm going to Icon, then I get that money back in stock. So in other words, I'm forced to save. Right. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Now, not everybody's going to Icon, and that's okay. Okay. Not everybody wants to be able to do that level of production. That's okay. So then it's like, okay, well, what else? What are the other benefits? Well, I've got a very significant amount of stock that I've saved in a very, very short period of time, simply by taking 5% of every single commission that I get. And that 5% of that commission, I buy eXp stock. And I buy it at a 10% discount. You basically, you got to think about it like you become a shareholder in the company, right? So when you join eXp, you become an owner in the company. So you get not only that financial security, but it also gives you a voice in the company, right? It enhances the company's commitment in your success as an agent. It truly, truly, truly is a partnership. My previous company that I was with, they said they were a partnership. They were full of shit. They truly were. This of what I belong to now with eXp, it really, truly is something that we are in this together.
is this a good place for a new agent to come in?
There's like 60 hours of curriculum, brand new curriculum every single week. And I just simply went into the state broker room on eXp World. I find this eXp Realty onboarding guide where it literally walks you through exactly the step-by-step process of how to be able to get started with this company, not just started with this company, but also started in real estate sales if that's what you desire.
Right.
One of the benefits that I have is I'm a mentor, okay? Meaning that when an agent comes on, if they've never done a transaction before and they are new to this business, they'll work with somebody like me who will be their mentor. Okay, so what that means is the first 3 transactions, I'm there with them. It's almost like I'm in the car with them side by side. It's like, boom, let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna make sure you don't crash. I'm going to make sure that you don't crash. I'm going to make sure that you know the proper documents to fill out for the contracts, that you know how to find business, you know how to consult a buyer for to set their expectations of predictable problems, you know how to be able to consult with a seller, and you know how to be able to do this step by step where a new agent gets a mentor like me to be able to guide you through as a new agent of, oh my goodness, I have to figure out now what. Most agents, what they do at that point is they say, well, now I got to go figure out how to write a contract. Here's what I suggest. If you're working with me, I say, no, you go find out how to find business. Let me guide you on how to stay out of trouble and how to write the contracts, how to do the CMA, how to be able to do all the logistical type stuff. And so that's the cool thing with eXp is that you have a certified mentor to guide you. If you don't pick the right sponsor, then you could be sort of like an orphan, where it's really the way that the company is designed, because we are partners, then the company finds, people who want to sort of embrace this as a brokerage like myself and run it like a brokerage like myself without all the negatives, and take, a team of people to then say, hey, look, guys, I'm going to help you succeed. I'll make sure you have the right resources. I'm going to make sure you have the right everything. All right. So I would recommend for anybody considering to join eXp, well, consider me as your resource. Consider the CPI community for your resource. But there's others out there as well, because I'm not going to suggest that I'm the right fit, that the CPI community is the right fit for everybody. But I'm going to tell you this, for the people that it's the right fit for, it is the right fit for, right? And so that's something that you have to be selective about who you're getting into business with. From a consumer standpoint, meaning the buyers and the sellers, it is a truth that the consumers, the buyers and the sellers, hire the agent because of the agent, not because of the big balloon in the air. Because ultimately, the consumer doesn't care about the brokerage or the brand that you're with. The consumer cares about you. The relationship is with you, even though technically they're hiring your broker. That is true. But guess what? They're never going to talk to your broker. They're never even going to know the name of your broker in most likelihood. What they're going to have the relationship, or who they're going to have a relationship with, is you, the agent. And that's what's most important.
All right. You sold me if I was a real estate agent.
If you are an agent, and if you're considering eXp, or even if you're not considering eXp and you just want to know like the ins and outs of it, the conversation that we had today is, it's a general conversation. Your situation is unique, okay? And your goals are unique. So I would invite for you to have a conversation with me. And what we'll do is we'll discover, what are your goals? What is it that you want to achieve? What are your resources? What are your God-given talents and strengths? What are your challenges? What are your weaknesses? What are the things that get in your way? And what I want to do is to have a discovery call with you so that we can take those unique skills that you have and we can put them into play. We could take the challenges that you have and I can show you the resources that will apply to you as an agent that eXp has. That we could take the things that you want to learn and I can guide you and show you exactly where those resources are. But everybody's situation is unique. The cool things with this company is that it's so comprehensive, is that it has something for you. So I'm going to invite for you to set up a call, a one-on-one call with me so that we can discover exactly what your God-given unique talents are. We can discover exactly what your problems are, what your challenges are, what your goals are. And I can be able to guide you to how this company can help you, how the CPI community with eXp can be able to help you.
So I'm gonna give an unsolicited endorsement. I've known Dan for 16 years, and right, I think the year he became a real estate agent. And I've always said that if I was working with a real estate agent and they were looking to grow their business, or a new real estate agent looking to start their business, I would connect you with Dan Rashan, because Dan is he's very smart, and he's a great student of business and his business, and he's grown a great business and all that stuff. But he's also exceedingly, as you can probably tell from his wild gesticulations while he's doing his video, he's exceedingly passionate about success and helping other people succeed. And it seems to me, I thought he had a good home at his previous brokerage, and I was very excited when he was running the brokerage, because that was really cool. uh, and he created his own community so that he could continue doing that and help more people, and he's done awesome with that. And now it seems to me as if he's in a really cool home where he can help even more comprehensively. So regardless of where you are on your journey, it would be a really smart idea to connect with Dan and have a discovery call. And I mean, again, I'm Fraser O'Leary. I mean, I don't even know if I need to say anything more about that. That's just something. Take that as the gold standard. It's the Warren Buffett of endorsements.
Thank you for that Warren Buffett of endorsement, Fraser. I appreciate you.